So when it comes to a form factor, I think the Raphael is better than the stock Surface Pen because it's a lot slimmer and the diameter is a lot smaller than the stock Surface Pen. If you can see, if I can get that on camera, yeah. The diameter is 9.2. I think the Amazon puts it as, and it feels like I'm holding an actual pencil because it's slimmer. It's I want to say the same diameter as an actual pencil versus this, which is kind of a lot chunkier. And I prefer slimmer pens over chunkier pens. I know some people prefer chunky pens. I wasn't a huge fan of the Wacom stock pen, but I'm not. Wacom did make a slimmer pen, which I really want to try out because it looks like my kind of pen. But going from Wacom to a Surface Pro and being able to use a slimmer and smaller pen and higher quality too because it's aluminum versus that plastic, it just felt really good. And this feels even better because of how much slimmer it is than the stock Surface Pen. And another thing that I think makes it better than the stock Surface Pen is the fact that it's chargeable. As you can see on the back, it takes your stock your old micro USB charger, old school Android charger, which I have a bunch of them laying around the house. Now it does not come with one, but I think the Raphael 2, the new one, does. So when it comes to the form factor of this stylus, it feels like the Apple Pencil and the Surface Pen had a baby, and I prefer holding it over this because this is, when I'm holding this, it feels like a pencil. When I'm holding this, it feels like, I guess, not like a marker. That's what a Wacom pen feels like. This feels like I'm holding like a chunkier pen. So I prefer this form factor over this form factor. So using it in 3D, it feels really good. Honestly, it feels same, if not better than the Surface Pen. Right now, I'm just doing simple stuff. But yeah, it feels no different. But I like the fact that it feels slimmer in the hand, so I can definitely use this pen for a long period of time. I feel like ZBrush is where this thing really shines. It feels better than the Surface Pen, honestly, in ZBrush. I'm animating with one hand, so usually I animate with two, but I gotta hold the camera in one. Let's see if I can give this thing arms. Oh. Yeah, this feels really good. Let me see how regular meshing feels. Uh, That's why I love having a right click on my blush. This is why I think the Apple Pencil needs a right click. Oh, I'm using the long brush. Just being able to do that really helps. Yeah, I can honestly say that maybe it's just me, maybe, but this feels better than the Surface Pen and ZBrush. In my, it feels the same. Oh, I forgot to turn symmetry on. In my, it feels the same, but dang, can I go back? But yeah, in ZBrush it actually feels better. See if we can get some symmetry going on. Did I activate it? There we go. Yeah, animating with one hand is kind of hard. But yeah, this feels a lot better. Look at that. It's an amazing pressure curve. Let me whip out the surface pen. Looks like my lines are showing up darker with the surface pen. But let's test this out. Looks the same. Oh. Okay, yeah, I see a little bit of a difference. Like I noticed before, when I draw with the surface pen, it shows up a little darker. This is me just like pressing down normally. And if you look closer, this shows up darker than the Raphael starting off. See how light that is? It's really hard to accomplish this kind of light on a surface pen, which is what other people are saying is what people are saying makes the Raphael better than the surface pen is it has a better pressure curve. I think everybody can agree that it has the same line quality. Maybe the Raphael is a little better, but it's hard for me to tell. There's like barely any jitter with both the surface pen and the Raphael. But what's amazing about it is this is $100. I paid $100 for the surface pen. Let me know if I got ripped off. And this Raphael was $50. So the fact that this $50 alternative pen can accomplish the same line quality as a $100 pen amazes me, and the fact that it can pull off a better pressure curve. Yeah, see, you can even tell the difference between this one and this one, especially when you zoom in. Like, see how light that is compared to that. So I can see what people are saying it has a better pressure curve. Now I saw a YouTube comment talking about how you kind of got to get used to the pressure curve when you do switch from the surface pen to this one. But it probably took me like a day to get used to it, to be honest with you. I did notice what she was talking about when I first started using this, but it took me probably less than a day, you know. If you might have to like turn up, you know, the darkness, but honestly I like being able to draw that light. Whenever I'm playing with Fresco, I'll usually draw, and this feels like a normal pencil to me. Like if you draw with a pencil on a piece of paper, it's gonna look like this, I feel like, and not like this. So I feel like this did better at accomplishing the pencil tone in Fresco. Okay. So I was gonna use this pen for a whole month to kind of give you guys a really good review on it. I don't like to like just use things for like a day or a week and then give y'all a review. I feel like that's not accurate. You can't really tell how good a stylus is unless you use it for a long period of time, in my opinion. And you know, I think that's the best way to give a review. But I had to cut this one short, and I had to do it in a week because as soon as I got this pen, Raphael decided to drop a sequel. So I want to, get into the sequel and start using the sequel. I actually have it coming. So I had to cut this one short. But this is my final thoughts on it. Now, people are hyping this up, and I feel like it deserves to be hyped up because this is a $50 stylus, and it accomplishes what this stylus can do, this 100 stylus, and I think it does it better because of its pressure curve. When it comes to line quality, I feel like these styluses have the same line quality. I don't see really any of a difference. But when it comes to pressure curve, this one definitely has a better pressure curve, in my opinion. And I mean, this one's longer, which I did see someone using the sequel, and they actually made it smaller. So I'm really looking forward for that. I honestly don't mind the length, but what I think makes this better and form factor than this one is how slim it is. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I love using slim styluses. I do not like using big bulky styluses. That's one thing I loved about switching from the Wacom to the Surface. This is actually skinnier than the original Wacom pen, this Surface pen right here. But when I saw this, I saw that it had a 9.2 diameter, but this has a 9.5, and that's actually what really drew me to this because I loved holding something that feels like a pencil. So this beats the Surface pen in form factor. I feel like the only reason why this has such a large diameter is they had to fit the battery in it. I feel like when they do make another Surface pen, I know they have the Surface Slim pen, but I feel like eventually they're gonna make another normal pen like this, and they'll probably ditch batteries, and they'll probably actually make the diameter of the next Surface pen slimmer. I feel like that's what's gonna happen, but that's just me predicting. But I can recommend this Raphael to a lot of people because it's $50 and this is $100, and I feel like you're getting more, if not the same, with this pen, and you don't have to use batteries. It's chargeable. The only thing that's really missing is these clickable shortcuts, which I find to be gimmicky. I do use them when I, doing school stuff. I'll double click. It'll summon, the snap. Can't remember what it's called, screen snap, whatever, and I'll like write a quick note, circle something that he pointed out, and the live actually. But you can do all that by just clicking the corner of the screen. So I feel like this, having this little shortcut for an extra $50 isn't worth it, in my opinion. So I think this is definitely worth the hype, and I think this and possibly the sequel may be the best Intrigue pin, which is very exciting for the Surface community and the Intrigue community, because we've been looking for this for a while, and I think I'm dying here, but yeah, this is really exciting. So my only problem with the first generation of the Raphael, the only flaw I can really find is the buttons. With this Surface pen, the button kind of sticks out a little bit, so I've never had trouble, feeling for the right click and being able to click it. And I use the right click a lot, when using ZRUS, when using Photoshop or Fresco, or not Fresco, but Photoshop, to resize my brush. This one, you have the eraser which I think I kind of find better than having the eraser over here, but the eraser and then, you know, the right click. And it's really hard to feel for it because it's so flat up against the pen. Hopefully they fix that in the sequel. I did see when another YouTuber was using the sequel, it looked like it stuck out a little bit, but I won't know till I get it, so I'll be able to tell you guys. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's definitely not, you know, it's definitely not gonna kill you, but if the creators of this pen are watching this, that would be something I would look into if you haven't fixed it on your sequel, is being able to make these buttons stick out, you know, just a little bit so they're easier to click. And another thing that would be cool if they could add shortcuts, which honestly are gimmicky, and if they can't add shortcuts and keep the $50 budget, then I would not do it. I would stay away from shortcuts because the $50 budget, I think, is one of the things that makes this thing so amazing. So we don't need shortcuts if it's going to cost an extra $50. But if the shortcuts can come and still keep the $50 budget, then that would be cool. But honestly, the shortcuts are gimmicky. But yeah, I think this is the best Intrig pin. So I'll end it like that.